Hello. Not that long time ago, I released videos on my channel which are related to The Sims and The Sims 2 re-release, which happened at the end of January 2025. And if it's still worth buying them and playing them in 2025. In this video, I would like to elaborate about The Sims 3 and if it's still worth it to either buy or play it in 2025, and why is it still a favorite title by many Sims players up to this date. The game is still available on multiple platforms such as Steam or EA App, so there is no problem if you want to own it to get it there. If you are new here, welcome, my name is Lucy and I do love video games, especially The Sims, but I play all sorts of different games and there is a lot of gaming content on my YouTube channel. And if you're new here and if you will find this video helpful or if you will find it entertaining, please consider to subscribe to my channel because it helps me to grow. Thank you so much if you will do. The Sims 3 was released in June 2009 for Windows and Mac and later for consoles, so it's almost 16 years and I have to tell you, there are still many Sims players who prefer The Sims 3 over The Sims 4, and we will talk about the reasons why The Sims 3 is still very popular among the Sims player base, and there are certain features that you can't find right now at The Sims 4. I am an OG Simmer and I did play the game back in 2009 and I played it a lot until the release of The Sims 4, but time to time I still returned to The Sims 3 because of different gameplay and possibilities to create. Compared to the previous titles, The Sims 3 has enhanced graphics, it uses 3D graphics engine, and the purpose of the game is the same: keep your Sims alive, fulfill their needs, build them a home and lead them through the different stages of their lives. It is a life simulator, so that is what you should expect from the game. The gameplay is much more complex compared to the previous titles, and you can really build a connection to your Sim character through the engaging gameplay. And thanks to a lot of expansion packs which were released over the time, it has a lot of different layers and makes the gameplay even deeper. First, let's talk about the advantages of The Sims 3 and why it's still able to keep the player base, and some people prefer it over The Sims 4. One of the main selling points of this game is definitely the open world, and before The Sims 3 you could not experience this in any previous Sims title. You could see the surrounding neighborhood in The Sims 2, but once you wanted to interact with any other lot, you'd have to travel there and there would be a loading screen while you are traveling. I really love the opportunity to play with the open world because it makes the game feel more realistic and more fun in general. But there was also a downside because of this, and that was the performance of the game, but I will talk about this a bit later. Because there is an open world in The Sims 3, we also have many options of transportation in the game, and one thing that everybody misses in The Sims 4 are cars. And we have them in The Sims 3. It seems like there will be cars coming to The Sims 4 because lately there have been information related to that, but nothing is officially confirmed at this point, so we can only hope that they will bring cars to The Sims 4. But for now, you can enjoy driving around the neighborhood in the cars in The Sims 3. Related to open world, there's actually a tool which is called The Sims 3 Create a World tool, and you can download it from the official The Sims 3 webpage. And that is another great tool for certain players which want to have a very custom experience and they can design the entire world for the game. I used to use this tool to create smaller worlds because they used to perform better and performance of the game is a bit of a struggle. But as I said, I will talk about that part later when I will bring up some negatives. Another plus for The Sims 3 and a mechanic that I miss the most in The Sims 4 is Create a Style tool. If you are not familiar with The Sims 3, it is a tool that allows you to customize a style of almost any object or piece of clothing in the game. It is very complex, certain objects have different layers, so you can customize different parts of it. You can choose the material of the object, so for example, when you want to change a style of the bed, you can choose a wooden pattern for the frame, and then you can choose a textile option for the bedding, and so on. I really miss this, and I would love to see a color wheel in The Sims 4 where we could change the color swatches of the objects or clothing. Expansion packs and the variety of gameplay and replayability of the game is also another plus side of this title. Over the 5 years as The Sims 3 was a main title of the franchise, they released 11 expansion packs and 9 stuff packs. The expansion packs are World Adventures, Ambitions, Late Night, Generations, Pets, Showtime, Supernatural, Seasons, University Life, Island Paradise, Into the Future. And the stuff packs are high-end loft stuff, fast lane stuff, outdoor living stuff, town life stuff, master suite stuff, Katy Perry's sweet treats, diesel stuff, 70s, 80s and 90s stuff, and movie stuff. Similar to the issue that you cannot get the IKEA stuff pack for The Sims 2, there is no option to get the Katy Perry Sweet Treats stuff in a digital version, so unless you owned it before, you can no longer buy it as a digital product. Apart from the content which comes from the packs I just told you about, The Sims 3 brought another new feature where you could get more content and you didn't have to wait for a release of a new expansion or stuff pack, and that was The Sims 3 Store, which is a part of the Sims 3 webpage, and you can buy extra objects there. Apart from items for build, buy and live mode, you could also get, or more likely buy, some new worlds for your game. You can download Riverview for free from the store, but for the rest of the worlds you have to pay. There's 11 of the worlds, but as I said, Riverview is one of them and is the only one that you can get for free, but you are required to have the Sims 3 account registration. There are also certain items you can get from the store for free, you just have to look into different categories and sort by the price. All of this requires to have the Sims 3 account registration, so you can only use this if you have registration for this webpage. And let's talk about the Sims 3 webpage for a little longer. Once you have an account there, you can also download plenty of customized items from the Exchange tab, such as hair colors, households, pet colors, recolored objects, patterns, worlds, and much more, and it is similar to the Sims 4 gallery. And if you are not confident to create your own worlds with Creative World tool, the exchange option is definitely a way to go because there are plenty of great worlds there. I will also make you happy if you are a fan of mods. Let me tell you that there is a big community of modders and they are still active and release new mods up to this date. I prefer to play my game vanilla because sometimes mods break your game, but if you want some extra gameplay at your own risk, you can definitely find plenty of mods online. Because the game is nearly 16 years old, it does bring the nostalgia, and with the 25th anniversary of the Sims franchise, we are all about it. Even the current event in The Sims 4 is related to The Sims 3, and the NPC that you encounter in Blast from the Past event is Emmett Relevard, the time traveler that you meet once you have The Sims 3 Into the Future installed in your game, and he is an important figure for your gameplay with this particular expansion pack. The Sims 3 definitely brings some nostalgic memories if you played the game in the past, and I think it still deserves some attention. Now let's talk about some disadvantages related to The Sims 3. One of the biggest problems that players did encounter back in the days and will still probably encounter today is the performance of the game. And it's mainly related to the open world, which I included as the advantage of The Sims 3. If you understand at least a little bit how games work, you can imagine that rendering of the entire world with many objects, lots and sims will take some time and computing power. Even with modern machines, it doesn't run the smoothest, and the trouble comes especially if you own all the content for the game and you want to run the game with all the packs. The Sims 3 has a separate launcher where you can select expansion and stuff packs that you want to play with, and it actually encourages you to select only a few to have a better game performance, but I think that this is not an option if you actually spend the money to buy all of the packs you want to use them, right? So if you load the game with all of the content, you have to be ready to face longer loading screens to start with, and you might experience issues related to performance. I know there are some mods which should make your game run smoother, but I personally didn't test them, so I can't recommend any or confirm if it works. Related to this issue, there is another disadvantage, which is the lack of updates for the game and potential technical issues related to it. It is understandable that there is no major support for this title anymore, as it's not a flagship of the franchise, but when you still sell the game, I think there should still be updates even if they were not that often. There was recently one update for The Sims 3 which fixed an issue for certain Intel processors when players could not run the game, but I personally think there should be more of them because the game is not cheap and players around the world invested a lot of money into this title, and as I said, because they still sell the title, it should have a support. And now let's discuss the price of the title. If you already own the game and the DLCs, you don't have to worry about it, but as a potential new player of The Sims 3, you have to be aware that the base game is not free as The Sims 4. You can buy the base game on Steam for about $20 or €20 or £18, or it's a part of EA Play subscription, and if you want to buy the base game on EA app, it's even more expensive there. You can buy the expansion packs sometimes on sale, but right now, if you wanted to purchase all of the content, it would cost you around $400, and that is not worth it unless you really love the franchise and you don't own The Sims 3 and you really want to play it with all the DLCs. But I would personally not recommend you to spend all that money on The Sims 3, and I would recommend you to put it towards The Sims 4. I honestly really think that all of it should be reduced, including the prices of the store items and The Sims 3 worlds, because these prices don't encourage new players. Another potential disadvantage might be dated graphics. I will again remind that this game is nearly 16 years old, so it doesn't run on the newest engines and can't really use the potential of modern machines, so you have to be aware of it, but it certainly doesn't look bad. It is just a preference, so it is not a big issue. Another potential disadvantage might be quite steep learning curve. The game has so many features that it can be very overwhelming for the new players who are not familiar with the title, and therefore they might not even use all the potential of the game. But again, this is something that you have to consider yourself, because I personally love the options you have in this game, and one of the important points that I always consider when deciding to buy a new game is the value you are getting for the amount of hours you can play the game. And trust me, you can spend hundreds or thousands of hours and you might still not explore everything in The Sims 3. In conclusion, the main selling point of this game will be still the open world and the amount of customization that you can do with Create a Style tool, and also deep gameplay, but you have to be aware of certain performance issues that this game still has. Compared to The Sims and The Sims 2 re-released titles, which include all the DLCs for a fair price, you will have to spend significantly more money if you wanted to own all the content for The Sims 3, and the base game is not free compared to The Sims 4. So based on the price, you have to decide if it's worth it for you, but if you already own the game, I encourage you try to play it again for a while and see if you like it still. Maybe you will be surprised and you will find some new features that you didn't even know were in the game. If you found this video helpful, please consider to subscribe to my channel. You can also find here some other videos related to The Sims content and some other videos related to gaming. Let me know in the comments if you are team The Sims 3 or The Sims 4. Thank you for watching if you made it so far, and I will see you in another video. Bye!